Bia, where you at? Where you at? Bia,
That's me.
Bia.
That's me.
Bia.
Yeah, that's me. What's up, Bia Gang, and welcome to Zakia Chanel Podcast. This isn't just a regular podcast. It's a place where we can let down our guards and be our authentic selves. So let's talk about it. The real, the tough, and the funny conversations. At the end of each episode, I want you to walk away feeling better than you did at the start. All right, enough of me talking. Breathe in, breathe out. Now let's get into the episode. What's up, y'all? Welcome back to another episode of the Zakia Chanel Podcast. I'm your favorite girl, Bia, Zakia, Chanel, whatever you call me, I'm back again. So thank you for watching, for listening. I hope that you all enjoyed episode 2. So let's go ahead and get straight into it. The first thing is, no, I do not have any wine with me today, and that's just because, it's morning time, so can't be drinking in the morning like that. But let's go ahead and get straight into it. So the first thing I'm going to start off with, like always, is our praise break. And so my praise break for this past week and a half, I will say I am working on a project, and I am very proud of myself because sometimes I start a project and, I just stop sometimes, just maybe because I may be a little nervous or whatever the case is. But with this project, I'm proud of myself because I am continuing it. I have been doing a good job with staying on top of it and just being my own accountability partner. So I am so proud of myself for that, and that is my praise break for this week. And I'm also going to do a little something new with this season. So I'm going to do like a meme or a motivation quote or something from what I just seen on the internet and what kind of just stood out to me and what has resonated with me. So it may connect to the episode or it may not. So for this week, it is, I will be the first to admit I act differently around different people. And it isn't because I am fake. I have different comfort levels around different people. Some people I can't be as open with. So different people get different versions of me. And I will show this meme on the screen if you are watching it on YouTube. But yeah, so that actually resonated with me because I have realized that I am totally different around different groups or different people. Like, I'm very outgoing, but if I'm just getting to know you, I'm more than likely a little bit more quiet than you would ever usually see if you are like one of my closest friends. But if I have been around you, I feel very comfortable around you. Like, you're going to see like the authentic me. You're going to see like the outgoing, the silly me, everything. So it just kind of depends on if I really know you, how I feel around you. Do I feel comfortable enough to just be myself? And then other times, like, everybody doesn't need to see everything. Like, that's just what it is. Like, everybody don't need to see all parts of you because sometimes, like, you don't know these people. So, you got to keep your eye out to just make sure, like, that they the real deal before you just be open book to them and everything. So that's my meme. So for this week, I want to kind of talk about like standing in your own way. And I wanted to bring that up because I was watching something. I might have been like a YouTuber, but I was watching something and it made me just think about like, we really sometimes stand in our own way of like our success and our accomplishments. And it's not like on purpose. It's sometimes like you don't even know that you are doing it. It's just that it happens. It happens and we don't realize it until someone has told us, or until we take a step back and see it for ourselves. So for me, I feel like sometimes I stand in my own way. And over this past year, I have seen it very like vividly in my life. Not just like with things that I want for myself, but also just how other people see me. And sometimes like I don't give myself permission to accept what they see. So let me break it down. All right. So standing in your own way. Okay. So for me, for instance, this podcast, like I feel that I have been standing in my own way just because I feel like I know what I want my podcast to be about. I see the end goal of it, but sometimes as I'm going through the process, if I don't see like results automatically, sometimes it makes me just kind of step back or kind of dim my own light. And people may be like, well, why aren't you really like pubbing it? Or why don't you really tell people about your podcast? And at first, I didn't understand the reason why I wasn't telling people or why I wasn't like shouting it out so much. But then when I really thought about it, it was because with my podcast, this is an open, vulnerable like me. And a lot of people get to see it that's close to me. But even then, like sometimes I could be in a conversation with a lot of people, and I am the person that observe or really, really listen before I speak. And so, like, I could be in a conversation with like a group of people that's close to me, and sometimes, like, they may not even hear the vulnerable side of me. And it's not to hide anything, it's just that I am the listener. I'm so used to giving advice or just being observant and everything in that way. And so, I don't truly let everything out. And then sometimes it's just because like I don't want people to be like, oh, or just feeling so sad for you, or you don't want to bring down the energy if everybody like yippee yay yay and you're not having the best day, but you're still around. And somebody may ask you like how you feel today, so you gotta just say good, just so, because if you tell the truth, it may be like womp womp womp, and you don't really mean for it to be that way, so you just decide not to say anything at all. And so that's how it is for me. But anyway, getting back to my podcast, I feel that sometimes like I wasn't telling people about my podcast because I'm so vulnerable. Like, this is just me. Like, nobody's around. The only time there's another person in the room when I'm recording is if I have a guest. Other than that, like, there's never anybody else in this space with me but myself. And so it's just like I feel that I can just let it all out. And then also, as I'm letting it out, I don't have to hear any response right away, like nobody's responding. Like, I'm just able to say whatever's on my mind. And then I may hear if like people that's close to me that's watched my podcast may like call me or like FaceTime me or whatever as we're talking or see each other, and may bring up something from my episode. Or I might see a comment or, a post or something about it. And so it's like I see people response to it, but it's not a direct response, or it's not a response that comes automatically as I'm talking about whatever it is. So I feel like that is a reason why I was like just kind of standing in my own way, because I knew that this is something that is very personal, vulnerable, of me doing my podcast and me just opening up as a person. And so with that, I don't be wanting people to always see that side or anything. And so I try to like hide it. But in reality, if I want people to support me, and also if I want to be able to help other people out, which is the whole reason of my podcast, then I need to say something. Like, I need people to know that this is my podcast, this is where you can find it at, all of those good things. And so that is just something that I need to do better with when it comes to like my podcast and everything. And then also another way I would see like me standing my own way is not just with my podcast, but okay, let's see. Like, everybody's not like this, but I am a person, say if somebody's giving me a compliment, feel like I have to give a compliment back, or sometimes like getting a compliment feels good in the inside because it's like confirmation of what you've been doing or what you just want people to receive from you. So it feels good in the inside, but also it's like a weird feeling because I'll be like, ooh, like I don't want all the attention, or ooh, like I don't want everybody watching me or paying attention to me. And so like that's just the type of person I am. And so sometimes I feel like I stand in my own way of my light being shined, or for people shining their lights on me of what I've been doing. And so I have to realize that I have to accept compliments when it's given to me without feeling like I have to give something in return, or try not to feel like that unease of like, ooh, like everybody's paying attention to me. And so, yeah, so example is back in September, I hosted like a prayer board party with some close friends of mine. And so we're doing a prayer board, whatever, and we're playing this game. I can't remember what it's called, but the game is like you can only play with people that truly, truly know you and people that you are close with, because it has a question on the card and you read it out loud, and the people around the circle is supposed to answer it. So depending on how many people it is, sometimes it's just like the person to the right of you or the person to the left of you will respond to that question. Sometimes everybody around will respond to whatever that question is. And so sometimes maybe like, what do you see, what do you believe like I have grown in, or whatever. And everybody around have to say like what they believe you have grown in. So one of the questions was like, if you were able to change spots with someone for a day, like who would you want to be? Like who would you want to live in? So basically, like, you know how we like, you wouldn't understand until you walked in my shoes. So basically, like, if you could choose whose shoes you wanted to walk in for a day, like who would it be? So everybody went around and said who they would like to, you know, walk in the shoes for a day with, or walk in a day of somebody else. And so it was like, okay, you expect maybe like one person to say like, oh, like I would want to walk in the shoes of Zakia for a day. Like I would want to see like her life. Okay, y'all, but it was more than one person. Like multiple people was like, I would want to walk in Zakia's shoes. Like I would want to be Zakia for a day. And I'm like, me? Like, well, me, why would you want to be me? And so like that was the inside of me, like, no, not me. Like, there's nothing special here. Like, just a regular person here, just regular days, nothing spectacular like it would be in y'all life. But the reality then, as they're like explaining the reason, they're like, you know, because you work hard, or you have so many different things that you do at one time. Like everything that you do isn't the same. Like everything is different, and it just seems like so interesting. And as they're saying it, I'm just like, oh wow, like that is true. Like I do a lot of things. I do work hard. I want people, like, it's not that I do these things because I want people to see it, but also like if it can help you, cool. Like I do work hard. I do a lot of different things that aren't always connected to the next thing, because I am a person that likes to try all different things. And then I don't ever do like the same thing all the time. Somebody was like, oh, because she's like a great listener, like, or she always have great advice. And so just things like that. And I'm just like, oh, wow, like that is me. But at the same time, I'm like, why y'all want to be like me? Or like, you know, you feel good in the inside, but at the same time, you're like, whoa, like, all right. And so I think that that's me just standing in my own way. But that makes me think about something else. So sometimes I feel like there is both sides to it. So when you're feeling like that, I think a part of me kind of says, oh, thank you, but like you don't have to do all of that. It's just so that I sincerely feel like thankful for people seeing it, or sincerely makes me feel good. And then another part of me, I feel like I do that is because it keeps me accountable of trying to stay humble. Because I think that if you soak in too much of thinking like you're all that or everybody want to be me or I'm this stuff, I think that sometimes make you start to feel like you're conceited with yourself basically, or that like no one else can match to who you are, or just like where you think you're so high on your high horse that you won't ever receive anything that anybody ever have to say, or you would never think that you can grow, or you would never think that you can be better than what you are right now. And so sometimes I think that I have to, like, I humble myself because I don't want to ever be on my high horse of like, yeah, I'm that one. You know, like, yeah, at times it's good to be like, I'm that one, but like, you don't want to rub that off on everybody. Like, yeah, I'm that one. Like, yeah, I know you want to be like me, or yeah, I know, like, I got that life. You know, just, you don't want to do all of that, or that's not what I want to do. So I think sometimes, like, that is the side to both things. Is just that, like, I want to be humble and I want to stay accountable to my feelings and not get on a high horse. And so that is a way for me to stay leveled. And then other times I think like it's just authentically who I am as a person, where sometimes like it feels good, and at the same time it's like, whoa, you don't got to do all of that. Like, I don't have to be the center of attention, but thanks for giving me the center of attention for a little bit. That's how I think it is. But yeah, and also it's just sometimes I think like how I can do better with not being in my own way is taking a step back, and not taking a step back and being able to really observe like, where am I standing in my own way of in life, and then also, why am I standing in my own way? Like, I think that is a question that needs to be asked, because we can easily say like, don't stand in your own way, but also we want to say like, why am I standing in my own way? Like, what is making... All right, before we continue our conversation, make sure to follow me on all of my personal social media accounts to stay updated on what I am doing. You can follow me on Instagram at _KiaZ, _KIAAZ. You can follow me on Facebook at Kia Brewer. You can follow me on Snapchat at FabulousKia_4. Or you can follow me on TikTok as Zakia Brewer. But make sure that you follow our podcast page as well on Instagram as Zakia Chanel Podcast. Okay, so where do we leave off at? So like, just trying to figure out, why am I standing in my own way? I think that would be a good question even for myself to ask, because I truly need to figure out like, what is making me want to stand my own way? Like, is it because I'm scared that I may fail, so I'm stopping myself? Am I standing my own way because I truly don't know like what to do next, or I'm too afraid to ask for help? And I think I think that may be something for me. Is like, not that I'm too afraid to ask for help, but I don't want to ask for help and then don't receive help, you know? So I try to feel like, well, I'm just going to figure out how to do it by myself without asking for help at all. And I'm starting to realize like, you can't do this life by yourself. And second, like, you need people. You need people, and you're not going to know something. So if you're choosing that, or you know that you don't know everything, you're going to choose to just figure it out, and you can easily ask someone for help. And so I think that also can stand in your way. And so I think that 9 out of 10, sometimes like standing your own way is very detrimental more than it's helpful. Like, there's a small percentage of standing your own way that may actually help you, because your mind or your flesh may want to do something negative that you're not supposed to do, and you are able to like kind of stand your own way to not do that negative thing. But majority of the time, like, you're standing in your own way, is detrimental. Not even detrimental, but just like allow you to just not fully be you, allowing you to not um accomplish what you want to accomplish, or be successful in areas that you want to be successful in, because you're the only thing that's blocking you. And we're our own worst critics. Like, we will critique ourselves harder than anybody else. And so even like with me critiquing myself is like, why are you being so hard on yourself when everybody around you is supporting you? Or why are you critiquing yourself and you have not even fully done a thing? That's what it is. It's like you critiquing yourself on something that hasn't even like that you haven't finished yet. And so sometimes like we be trying to beat our own self to the what ifs. Like, don't try to beat yourself to what if. Like, allow it to naturally happen. And if something happens, okay, when it comes about, like, okay, you will deal with it when it happens. But until it happens, like, don't beat yourself up and don't try to beat yourself to the what ifs something does not work out the way it's supposed to work out. So I think those are the things that just kind of in my head of when I feel like me standing in my own way. But you tell me, what are some ways of like, or what is it? Why are you standing your own way? What is the reason that you are standing your own way? Is it to help yourself? Is it because you too scared of something happening? Like, what is that thing? And I know for me, like, this year is all about not just me standing in my own way, because I think last year I started to understand that, like, let me step aside and let God take control of my life for real, for real. And so I think this year is walking in that truth. And so for me, it's going to be difficult of walking in that truth of, because sometimes like we want to be in control so much that if I don't allow God to truly control my life and I walk in that truth, then there are things that are going to happen, I feel like, this year that could be milestones for myself that won't be milestones, because I have decided that I will rather stand in my own way because I want to be in control that bad than allowing God to be in control. So I think that is where I'm at, and that is where I know things I need to work on, and what I will already am working on. So I think that is just something of a note to myself, like, look, this is what you have to do in order to not be in your own way, in order for you to truly live out your dreams that you want to live out, like live out what you have planned for yourself. So yeah, I just really wanted to talk about that topic because I just really wanted to talk about us standing our own way and how it affects us more than we know. And so before we finish this episode, I want to just discuss my run and tell that. Run and tell that, run and tell that, run and tell that, homeboy. So my run and tell that for this week will be, for this episode, is to not just stop standing your own way, but find the reason of why you're standing in your own way. Write down some ways that you can stop being in your own way, or how you can limit the times that you're standing in your own way, and then truly, truly work at that. And so for myself, it will be to not be in control, and to also allow good things to happen and allow people to say good things without feeling that I have to not accept it or feel like I have to give something in return. And then also just understanding that if you really want something to work out, if you really want that dream to happen, if you really want that goal to be accomplished, to allow yourself to be your authentic self. Allow yourself to fail and get back up. Allow yourself to learn from your mistakes that you have made. Allow yourself to cheer yourself on and allow other people to cheer you on. And then allow people to say what they have to say. You can choose whether you want to receive what they have to say or not. You can choose. I always pray about it. Like when somebody's telling me something, I pray like, God, if that is truly for me, what that person just told me, let me receive it. If it's not, then I remove it. Remove it from my mind, my sight, all of it. And so that is my run and tell that. And I just really wanted to just discuss how it is hard at times to understand how effective it is when we're standing in our own way, or how it affects us when we are standing in our own way, in ways that we can truly turn it around, change some things up, and really, really like walk it out in 2024. That's all I want us to just, and not even for the full year, like let's push just January. Like let's just walk it out. January, February, let's walk these moves out. Let's rip some band-aids off of why we're choosing to do what we're doing. And then when March comes, then let's take off. Like let's heal ourselves. Let's heal whatever band-aid we ripped off that we needed to like open up. And let's truly like accomplish some things and support ourselves, support other people around you, and what they're doing. Like that's my last thing with my run and tell that is to just support other people. Like don't be the downer in your group, whether that's your family group, your friend group, whatever group, relationship. Don't be the downer. Like support people, encourage people, motivate people, love on people. Because not only is it helping them, but in return, low key, it's helping yourself. Like the more you give out, the more you receive. The more you receive everything back in return. So live it out and allow it to come back to you. Don't give out negativity, because that also will come back to you as well. So yes, that is my run and tell that. This is my full episode for today. It may have seemed a little quick, but I just really wanted to like dive in and just talk about that topic. Make sure you stay tuned to my February episodes that will be coming out after this episode is out. So I love you all. Continue to be the best version of yourself that you can be. Continue to support other people, and remember to not stand in your own way. I love you all, and I will see you in my next episode, or, maybe I will respond if you, comment or something. But anyway, I love you all, and see you in the next episode. Peace. Hey, don't leave me hanging. Before you leave, make sure that you subscribe to Zakia Chanel Podcast. You can listen to my podcast on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Buzzsprout, Google Podcasts, and SoundCloud. Or you can go over to Zakia Chanel TV on YouTube to listen and watch the podcast. Looking for someone to host your event, or you want to learn how to start your own podcast, or you need organizing tips, I'm your girl. You can contact me via email. You can also reach out to me via email if you need any advice on anything at Zakia Chanel Podcast at gmail.com. Remember, it starts with you. Be blessed and take care of yourself.